Thank you for watching and welcome to Meet Developing Me with Noktula. So today we're going to be talking about putting together that CV, and the focus is basically for anyone who's at least had one job. So in the previous video we had talked about putting together a cover letter, and what we had said in putting together the cover letter, we told the recruiter in the opening of our CV they would find a summary of our career profile as well as 3 key accomplishments. So I'm going to start at the career profile. So this is just an example of a career profile that I have on my CV, and it's important to update it every now and again, and also just to update it so that it speaks to the job that you're applying for. But I've put something like, I am a skilled learning and development practitioner with vast experience in youth development and governance, and then I've said my experience includes, and I've put that area in red. The area that I've put in red in my CV, I would put it in bold as well as in italics, or and the reason I would do that is we are still I've made it past the applicant tracking system, but one is not yet out of the woods. So these are some of the things that I want the recruiter to actually see about me. And so I put that. And lastly, I just wanted to bring your attention to the sentence. I said I've been able to consistently maintain or improve compliance through the application of respective skills development legislation. One of the things to remember throughout, we are selling ourselves. You are trying to put your best foot forward. So I'm already telling the recruiter before they've even gone very far that at worst, if I'm employed at this role, at worst, absolute worst, I will maintain, things will stay the way they are. But guess what? At best, I will improve. I will improve things, which then brings us to our key accomplishments. We promised the recruiter they'd also see our 3 key accomplishments, which I would then put in bullets below this. So when we talk key accomplishments, what are key accomplishments? So, for example, if you have improved productivity in any way, let's say you implemented a process and that process resulted in time saving. That is a key accomplishment. I would include that. I would say implemented this process, and this is the amount of time it saved the organization. If I brought about anything that resulted in a cost savings, or I brought in even new revenue, I would include that. Maybe created a new revenue stream, or say improved cost saving, and by implementing this, and I'll also quantify the amount of money. So, or if the amount may sound too small, I'd put a percentage that before I was here it was like this, after I came into the picture this is how the needle moved. And also something else that I'd also put as a key accomplishment. You may have heard a lot of organizations love their culture, and culture speaks to how they do things. And some organizations speak to, they can steal our people, they can poach our people, they can copy our product, but something that they cannot take from us is our culture, or the how we do things. So if in your role there is something that you have done, something that you've introduced that improved or spoke to the culture of that organization, I would definitely also put that as a key accomplishment. And then lastly, in the last video I posted last week, I said when you are having your performance appraisal that time, or even at the beginning when you're negotiating a salary, this is the question that you must always ask. And the question is, how can I be involved in projects that are key to the strategic future of this organization? And the reason you want to negotiate to be involved in those projects, it again starts speaking to what will be your tomorrow's key accomplishment if that project is successful. Because if you are involved, you will start speaking to what is the role that you played. Not even talking to the benefit that it will put you in a place where you are seen by individuals in the C-suite, especially in big corporates, in big organizations. So those are some of the key accomplishments, and I'm just going to show you an example of some of my key accomplishments that I have put. All right. So in terms of key accomplishments, these are the key accomplishments I put on my CV. One thing I forgot to put, next to each key accomplishment, I put the actual year that it happened, because remember, we also want to stay relevant and current. So key accomplishment from 5-7 years back are not quite, so anything 2-3 years at the most is okay. So one of the key accomplishments that I put there is designed an international award e-learning platform. And I actually put there the year was 2016, and I put there again in red the name of the award. And I also put there increased corporate BESD element by 4 points. Note here I made an error. I said SD. Ideally, you do not want to use abbreviations, because especially consider, whilst you are still being shortlisted, the recruiter might not be very well versed with a specific industry. So depending on what was on the job spec, I would want to use that word. Ideally, I should have said the skills development element. But what I did do is I put there 4 points. So in terms of that element, I said my contribution was an increase by 4 points. I put a numerical value. And also something else that I put, in South Africa, one of the challenges that we are facing is a high unemployment rate. And I said they facilitated gainful employment for 20 graduates. Employment is key. And I actually put there, I quantified. If it was 19 graduates, I would have put 19. If it was 21, I would have put 21. So here, I encourage, let us put an exact numerical value. So that is just an example of what my key accomplishments are. And then I'm now going to go to then now we get to putting together your work experience. And ideally, I would say start with your work experience, unless there's something absolutely exceptional about your educational qualifications, etc. And I'm just going to show you an example of how I have constructed my work experience. So now we then put our career history. So yes, we'd always put the title, put the year when I had the role. And what I really want to speak to is that how we then construct this part going forward. So what you want to start, what I want to say here and what I recommend is that one should use bullets. Why? Bullets are just friendlier on the eye when you look at them in terms of the document. And when you begin each sentence, I recommend that you start with a verb rather than, so what you don't want to do is to copy your job description and paste it here. No. You want to look at the job spec you're applying for, look at the job description or look at your CV and put it in bullet points. And what you want to do, each bullet must start with a verb, an action word. The reason you want to do this is, one, the verb tells them what action you did, and it also speaks to the complexity of the role. So already it starts saying, okay, that you are at this level. So also this is quite important. So for example, I put the implementation of. So what I do here in terms of skills, the skills development legislation, I am responsible for implementing. So for example, I didn't say assist, I don't know, I can't think of any other word. And for example, here I say design and update relevant skills development policies, etc. So here, by the word design, I could have used another word, but the word design, if you look at the word design and the word maybe facilitate a process, are two different things. So again, when we're talking about the complexity of the role. And lastly, I put there manage youth development programs. Again, I did not say coordinate because somebody does that, but I look after the end-to-end process. So what I am responsible for, it also talks to accountability, because they also want to know in terms of the role that you're applying for, at what level have you been functioning? What type of responsibility are you able to carry out? It talks to also the capacity that you as an individual have. And so ideally here, I would say at most, do not go over 7 bullets. I know you have a lot of experience. I know you are brilliant. If what you have put here aligns with the job spec, it speaks to the recruiter and the hiring line manager, they will invite you for an interview. And that is where you'll really, that is the time you'll blow their socks off. But right now, you do not also want to take up too much space. Remember, think of this as real estate. It's quite important real estate. So you do not want your CV ideally to be more than 2 pages. If you really have to, at a max 3 pages. And I would continue to then apply this for even my previous role, etc. And then when it goes to jobs that I did probably 10 years ago, I just put the job title and I would not even put additional information. And here I put key accomplishments. So for me personally, this is Noctula's recommendation. It's not a rule or any best practice. I would not put any additional accomplishments because initially I put the 3 key accomplishments of my career thus far. So what I want you to know, this is what I've done in the past 3 to 5 years. Because the truth is, you are as good as your last experience or your last accomplishment, and that's what I want them to know most. So the fact that I was a prefect in matric, wonderful. Who cares right now? So so that is it in terms of the CV. What next video, please, if you know anyone who says I do not have experience, or I don't know, like I just have very little experience, I don't have formal experience, I will be talking to how one can actually put together that CV. So other than that, please, thank you, please invite, like, follow. Thank you for watching.